Hello and welcome to Audiology Talk. My name is Tony Lombardo. I'm one of the audiologists with Grason-Stadler, and today we are going to be talking about the configuration application for the Pello. The configuration application, or what we call config app for the Pello, is a companion piece of software that allows you to set the defaults and do things like arrange the word lists that are internal on the device. So the first thing that you'll do is you'll open up the Pello configuration application. The current version is 1.5.5. You can find out by clicking About right there. The very first thing, though, that you always want to do whenever you're connecting to your audiometer is you want to hit the Upload button first. And what this is going to do is it's going to bring the configuration settings, the current configuration settings from the instrument into the configuration application so that we can make changes and then download those changes when we're done. So I'm going to hit Upload. It's going to take a few moments to read the information from the device, and then when it's done, it's going to allow me to start editing here. So let's just wait for it to finish. Beautiful. All right, so now my settings have been uploaded into the device, and I can start navigating the config app and making some changes. Here in the Instrument tab, so we're going to start here with the Instrument tab. If you look along the right-hand side, there are all these different tabs here that you can select under the category of instruments. So the very first thing that pops up is security, and this would be where if you wanted to have a variety of different examiners and some login, you can set that all here. If we move down to facility, this is where you may set things up for your facility, your particular facility. So if you're going to be doing direct printing from the Pello, you are going to want to set up your name of your practice, your address, browse for a logo, things like that. You can also change the date and time format here, and if you are operating outside the United States, you can change your symbol set and display language here as well. If we move over here to printout, this is going to be for direct printouts, and if you are going to be using a printer with the Pello, you want to make sure that you have the proper print protocol and page settings, and you can set all that up here. The next spot is someplace that we are going to spend just a little bit of time. When I hit the upload, basically what it did is it pulled in all of the different internal word lists that I have loaded into the Pello into this configuration application. And what that allows me to do is organize them into lists of favorites. So here is where all the different CDs that I have loaded onto this Pello are going to live, and I'm going to go ahead and just click on the CD that I want to arrange, and then what I can do is I can hit the lists. I can assign them a different test type. So for example, here my AZ pediatric sentence test, I would want to set that as a WRS test, add that to favorites. And that's going to move over here. Now you can see that I've got some favorites here for WRS already. These are the ones that are there by default. If I want my list to be coming up first on my drop-down menu, I can move it up the list until it gets to the top of the WRS category. Now, one thing that can happen is you can get these different test types mixed up a little bit. So I've got a WRS followed by SRT, another SRT, and then a WRS. The same thing will apply, though. The order is just based on the test type. So this one is still going to be first, and then these will follow, even though the test types are mixed in over here. So let's just go ahead and let's grab a different CD here. Let's grab something off of DoD VA CD1. I'm going to grab my Maryland CNCs. And maybe this one is when I'm doing some things for my cochlear implant patients or my central auditory processing patients. I may want to use a slightly different moniker. So I might want to use WRSRM so that when I select that test type, these lists that I'm selecting are going to move over and be in that test type when I select it on the device itself. So this is where you're going to arrange them, assign a test type to them, add them to your favorite list, and then arrange things. So this is a really important tab, and probably the tab that you'll spend the most time on. Moving right along, we have our log files. This is if you ever have a problem with your Pello or this configuration application, you can always save these log files. This is what allows our engineers to go into the code of the software and the instrument to determine what might be wrong with it. The next tab is the Audiometry tab, and this is going to give us some of the global settings for the Pello. For example, where do we want to power up? Do we want to power up in the tone mode or the speech mode? If we're going to be doing our settings for bone conduction from the mastoid or forehead, you can make all of those selections here. One setting that people will spend some time on is this auto hertz, and that is going to be basically allowing you to set a standard, a sequence of frequencies that allows you to say, for example, starting at 1000 is going to be our first frequency. I'm going to move that over here, and then I'm going to do my next frequency is 2000 in the sequence, and you would build your sequence here so that when you're on the device, if you hit auto hertz, that means that when you store your threshold at 1, it's going to move to the next frequency in the sequence, and you can make this sequence as long as you'd like. And circling back to 1000, that kind of makes it easy and saves you several button pushes on the devices as you're navigating audiometry. So that's one thing that you might want to pay attention to. From there, you can go down. There's just a couple more settings we want to talk about. Our starting settings for the different channels in our pure tone screen. If you have your Pello licensed for high frequency, you can make some of the selections here on both the starting frequency and your channel selections. If you get over here to speech, you can do the same types of things, basically setting up where the defaults are when you are navigating to these different places on the audiometer. You can always, of course, change this on the fly, but these are just where your defaults are. The last thing I want to talk about today is going to be the autoplay features on your device. Now, if your Pello is licensed for Speech Plus, you will have some of these advanced capabilities with the autoplay system. So a couple of things that you have for options. You can choose auto advance on score, meaning that as you score the word list, it's going to automatically advance for you. And then you can also use a couple of different types of behaviors for the internal wave in the internal autoplay mode. So for example, wait for score is what we have selected. Now you can also go to time expire correct, time expire incorrect, and then time expire no score. And basically what this is going to mean is that when you hit your interrupt button on the word list, it's going to present the first word, mark it correct, incorrect, or no score, and then it will move on to the next word. If you are monitoring the speech test, then you say, for example, you had it select as correct, you would just override and hit incorrect when they made an error to make sure that you're getting the proper score for your patient. But this is where you set up your autoplay details. Now, when you're all done and you've made all of your settings and your changes, what you can do is you can press the download to the instrument. It's going to tell you it's going to replace the current configuration, and you can go ahead and hit proceed. It's going to take a little bit of time, and it's going to send that down to the audiometer. And then when it's done, it's going to let me know that I'm going to have to restart the instrument for these settings to take place. So that is a real brief overview of how the configuration app for the Pello works. Stay tuned to Audiology Talk for more information and more short videos like this. And please make sure to check out our social media for more information. Thanks.